Welcome to Lawyers Without Billboards, where we break down family law and other areas of the law. No gimmicks, no legal jargon, just real unfiltered talk from real lawyers. Join your hosts, Steve, Patty, Jimmy, and Alexa, partners at Shewmaker and Lewis, a law firm based in Atlanta, Georgia. Every episode, they tackle the legal questions that matter most: divorce, custody, child support, alimony, and everything in between. They'll pull back the curtain to give you real insights on what happens inside the courtroom and beyond.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Lawyers Without Billboards. Today's a very special day.
It's always a special day here at Lawyers Without Billboards.
Yeah, okay. So, Alexa,
Steve says it a lot, I'm just saying.
Oh, that's a special day?
Always.
Well, Alexa, I think you're going to introduce our
esteemed guest.
Our esteemed guest. And when you do, I want to add a little bit about our esteemed guest.
Oh, well, you take it away then. Go ahead.
Well, our esteemed guest is the one and only Kim Dymecki. And I met Kim when I was in law school. Of course, Kim was like this big shot attorney, and she had like no use for me. She's like, oh, who are you?
That's how I felt when I first met Kim. True story. I was on the other side of a case, and I was like, wow, she's intense.
And then when I graduated and passed the bar, Kim was actually my mentor in the transition into law practice program. Yeah, and so Kim mentored me in being a new attorney. So all the bad things that I do as an attorney, it's Kim's fault.
That's it. That's why it explains why you're such a bitch. I'm so proud.
Light, for sure. All right. So, Kim, tell us about yourself.
I don't know. What should I tell you about myself?
How long have you been an attorney?
35 years this June.
Where'd you go to law school?
Went to law school at Emory Law School.
She's an hemorrhoid.
And I am an hemorrhoid.
Mm-hmm.
Came to Georgia to go to law school.
Yeah, because you're not from Georgia.
I'm not from Georgia. I was born and raised outside of Philadelphia in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and came here to go to law school and never went back.
Yeah.
So I've been here and practicing the entirety of my career here. Initially, when I first started practicing law, I did a lot of criminal defense work and a small amount of domestic. And slowly but surely, that kind of evened out half and half. And now it's become a lot more domestic and just a little bit of criminal.
And why is that?
I was about to ask the exact same question.
I think part of it is just how my practice developed with referrals. And some of it is that in order to do a lot of criminal defense work and actually make a living off of it where you can support your family and do well, you've got to be willing to do federal criminal defense.
Sure.
And I really never was interested in that. I did a little bit of it for a brief period of time, and I just did not enjoy it.
Why is that?
In the federal system, it's a lot harder to actually, I felt it was a lot harder to actually do good for your client. I guess that's the way I want to say it, in the sense that you have very little ability to negotiate for your client.
Well, I was going to say, because, the federal sentencing guidelines are like two giant books, and they have like this very complicated formula on sentencing and what the sentence is going to be. So there's not a lot of
wiggle room.
Yeah, or advocating that you can do when it comes to sentencing. It's just kind of, they go down in the criteria and the factors and yes,
check,
no,
check,
and what applies.
The state system, you can do so much more for your client.
Well, that's an interesting point.
So didn't want to do federal, and so just slowly, and then just people just started referring me so much domestic business.
Well, which do you like more, criminal or family?
Well, that's a hard question. I love doing criminal defense work. Domestic can be challenging because our clients can be challenging at times, and the issues that we deal with them can be challenging. But at the end of the day, when you help a family get through what's probably the hardest time of their life, and you do it well, and everybody comes out on the other end at least relatively whole, there can be some really good.
They survive. Sometimes you just survive the process, and sometimes that's
enough.
Yeah,
right.
Sometimes that's all you're going to get. That's the best you're going to do.
Sometimes that's the definition of success when you're talking about divorce. It's
For
just
sure.
surviving. And I know, Alexa, you had like some specific questions you wanted to ask.
Well, actually, mine was more, I want to hear some stories because I know your first, and I think it was your first day doing criminal work at the jail, if I remember correctly.
First jail visit.
First jail visit.
One of
those. But that one's one of my favorite stories. And I know the story. You guys know the story. But I think everyone wants to hear the story.
Are you talking about the view up?
Oh, yes, I am.
Absolutely.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, years ago, in Fulton County, the jail in Fulton County, when they brought inmates over to the courthouse, was in the basement of the old Superior Court building. So in order to go see a client, if they were being brought over for plea and arraignment, you would have to go to the basement level of the building, and then you would go down this long staircase into like the sub-level, I guess, of the building.
Which I'm sure smelled like urine.
Oh, and everything else. And when you get to the bottom of this, the room is just lined with cells. So all to your left, all straight ahead of you, and then all to your right. It's just all cells. And each cell was probably, I don't know, not great with distance, but maybe 20 by 20.
That's just
cell
that's huge.
Big.
Yeah.
Pretty big. And each
It's like a garage.
I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 guys in there.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking there's like one dude per cell. Those are huge.
It's just in the courthouse,
Yeah.
waiting to be.
Right.
Yeah, waiting to go upstairs.
Yeah, waiting to go upstairs. That's right. And so, and then there'd be an open toilet in the cell.
Yeah.
And so you'd walk down into this pit, and, you'd have all the guys calling out for you, wanting your attention. And then, you'd have to like find your client in the cell. You'd be looking around and find your client. And so I found my client, walked up to the cell. And that day I had on a skirt. And it was a normal length skirt above my knee, but not like 5 inches above my knee, probably.
So not a mini skirt.
No, no. Probably an inch above my knee, maybe. And, of course, I had high heels on. It was a suit because I was in court. And as I approached the cell, I started talking to my client who was standing. And out of the corner of my eye, I caught some movement. And I kind of I looked down, and there's a guy lying on the cell floor looking up my skirt.
Oh, my
His
gosh.
hand down his pants.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying.
No. You had to be, you had to be like 25 years old?
And he's in a cell with 25 other dudes.
How did that not just kind of turn you off of criminal defense?
Because she's from Philadelphia.
Correct.
And
You know what it was? She was like, I feel really hot now.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
have you seen how Eagles fans conduct themselves? That is nothing.
The city of brotherly love.
Lots of love. I was young, and so I was kind of like, oh no, what do I do? And I think I just slid back from the
I was supposed to say, just backed up a little bit.
Yeah, I backed up, crossed my legs. And I just would have went off on the dude.
Yeah, sure.
Then I was just too shocked because I was still young in my career, young in what I was doing, really young to be exposed to any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
that was probably my first kind of shocking experience with criminal defense. That one of the first domestic cases I handled started with the wife stabbing her husband in the hand with a knife,
Wow.
a real knife.
Did he have it coming?
Deserve it or?
No, they were just having what I call a normal marital argument, and she stabbed him. And then after she stabbed him, she couldn't understand why she was getting arrested. And there was a temporary restraining order being issued against her.
What?
So you're saying if you black out, you shouldn't get arrested.
Right. But that might have been my first instance of criminal kind of actually being combined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and let's talk about that because that's not uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wife stabbing, husband in the hand. I don't see that every day.
No, not all the time, but sometimes.
where you have criminal and family law intersect.
No, it's not uncommon at all.
And so talk to us about that.
Well, I think years ago, it was more of that type of stuff, meaning domestic violence type instances that either started the divorce or happened once the divorce has started and a domestic violence incident occurs. Nowadays, while yes, I still see some of that for sure, I'm actually also starting to see a lot of other type of criminal offenses occurring either just before a divorce or during a divorce, such as hacking into emails.
Oh, okay.
Hacking into computers.
Are you seeing a lot of DAs actually prosecute that, that kind of invasion of privacy when it's incident to a divorce?
I have not seen it only because my clients haven't wanted to pursue it.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I've heard of cases where it's been pursued, but I have not personally had a case.
Okay. Okay.
And, of course, you've also got to be very careful in those cases, because if you have that occur in one of your cases, naturally you can't use that to try to negotiate or, quote unquote, threaten a better settlement.
Right.
Because if you threaten criminal charges to gain an advantage in a civil case, that can ultimately be a bit of a problem for your bar license.
Kind of bite you in the ass a little bit.
That's bad. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other kinds of things are you seeing, criminal and intersecting with family law?
Well, let's see. I know the hacking has been a big thing. Of course, placing recording devices.
Yeah.
That in a few cases.
It seems like we're running into that more and more.
All the time.
Probably
all the time.
Probably because everybody's recording everybody, it seems like, anymore. And there's cameras everywhere. And everybody has cameras on their homes and in their homes. So it just seems like that line is starting to be blurred. That, I've already got cameras up in the house, so I'm just going to put a camera, in my spouse's bedroom or something.
Right. Or hide one where they can't see it in, like in their car.
Right.
Place a voice-activated recorder under their car seat.
Yeah.
Maybe under their desk where they work a lot, or take a phone call.
I had a opposing party put a camera in the air vent
of their bedroom.
Was it a bathroom?
As a bedroom.
Oh my God.
They were separated but still living in the same house.
I had a family where they were using Ring cameras as baby monitors, and they had them set up in their children's rooms. That's super weird. Until you get the video of the husband basically throwing the little girls into their beds, mushing them down into it. He ended up in Leavenworth for a while.
Oh my God.
But number one, sorry, they're there.
I get bedtime is hard. Geez.
Come on. It was a little aggressive. But they have them all around their house. I'm like, good for you. You were able to capture this. But otherwise, I don't think I need cameras all up over all of my house constantly.
Yeah.
We only set them up when the dogs are there by themselves to keep an eye on the little one. But
no, I don't want to know what my dogs are doing when we're not there. Yeah.
I just see, because ours we can talk through. So at least if I can, one of them starts chewing on something, I can yell at him through the camera. Or Jimmy can. Baby.
Now, my favorite that I've had to deal with anything like that, had a case a couple years ago that my client calls me and he goes, "Hey, so she's trying to track me." I was like, "Okay, cool. What you got?" And he sends me all these pictures. She had duct taped an extra iPhone underneath his truck, and it's hanging halfway off. And he was like, "Yeah, the way I was parked, I saw something hanging under my car, and I was like, oh my God, what happened?" And then I realized that she's doing that. So he of course
trackers on Amazon.
That's such an expensive tracking device.
There's more.
There's more.
So then he takes that off. And then a few days later, he was like, "Look, I was just a little paranoid at that point." So I look under there and see that she had gotten a magnet tracker and put it under there. And he took that one off. She put another one under there. This is all within the span.
You got to give her credit.
This is all within the span of a week.
Well, hold on. And wasn't this the one where she had a multi-pack?
Unless you buy a multi-pack.
I looked on the website.
You get a discount. You get a discount if you buy them in bulk.
Yeah.
Well,
obviously.
Because Costco's helping out now.
Costco wants a piece of the action.
This was right before Labor Day one year when us and y'all and Holmes, we were all going up to Blue Ridge or somewhere
where we were going.
And so I told my client, I was like, "Bring those to me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking them with me."
So she thought he was in Blue Ridge.
Well, so she and her attorney, nothing ever came of hey, any accusations of him, running up to North Georgia with some lady for a weekend. But had they,
that was going
to be very entertaining.
It would have been very entertaining. Yeah. Now, I think the technology tracking and the hacking and all that is just getting way intense
and way out of hand. You know, and it's interesting. You know, how do you advise clients, Kim, when it comes to recordings and tracking devices? You know, kind of, because a lot of people, that's coming up a lot, and people are asking about that a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I've recently had this issue in with my own cases, but I always tell clients, look, you can record any conversation you're a party to, because in Georgia we're one party consent.
Right.
So it's perfectly fine if you're on the phone with somebody, you want to record that conversation, you can do that. But be really, really careful about recording any other conversation that you're not a party to. For instance, if you've got two people that are talking on the phone and that person has their phone on speakerphone, for instance, now, can you record that conversation? Are you technically a party to that conversation?
Right, sure. Right.
Make sure that the person, at least the person who's there with their phone on speaker, says, yeah, I consent.
Right.
Because then I think you're covered as well. Don't ever place a recording device in a home, in a car.
Where you're not present.
Right.
When it's recording.
Highly illegal.
Right.
Big problem.
You know, I think attorneys need to be more and more careful also now about their own clients recording them. Because do those recordings, what happens if those recordings get unintentionally discovered by us?
Sure.
Have they then waived their attorney-client privilege?
It's a good question.
And so, you know, like I tell clients, look, I don't, it's not like I'm not going to stand by what I tell you. But if you record me and that recording is released some way without your consent or knowledge, or maybe with your consent or knowledge, you need to understand you've now created an issue.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And,
Right.
That is, you know, 20 years ago when I started practicing, I could record anybody. I never recorded phone conversations.
Well, that's because there was like a whole little tape, and it was a whole process. You had your separate machine, you had your tiny tape, your little microphone. You had I'm just saying,
You know, okay.
You said you've been practicing for over 30 years.
But I also don't think we've really been thought about.
No, probably not. That makes sense.
In our consciousness, and now it's almost like record all the time.
Yeah, tell me about this, because I actually had this question come up. Because we have phone calls between parents and children, and now so many of them are FaceTime calls or some sort of video call.
Great.
Parents recording their video FaceTime call with their child.
I think there's a statute on that, actually.
Okay.
And without looking at the code right in front of me, I believe there's something in the statute that discusses or addresses audio, I don't know about video, but audio recording phone conversations between parents and children. You definitely can't, like, if you're talking to your daughter, Molly, and I'm her other parent, I couldn't record your conversation.
Right.
Sure. But what if you're calling Molly and it's a FaceTime call?
Right.
And you're recording that, and Molly's walking around my house and I'm in the background.
I don't know.
Do you all of a sudden have problems with that?
I don't think so, because Molly is consenting to the recording.
Okay.
Well, I'm consenting
But
to
what
the
if it's
recording.
but it's a video? But it's video.
Right, it's video.
It's video as opposed to just audio.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know if you guys have used this, but our Family Wizard has video calls, and they automatically record.
Yes, they do. But that's part of the consent.
Sure.
When you sign up to use our Family Wizards, you're consenting. If you sign up to use the video calls through our Family Wizard, you're right. Well, you have to pay extra for them to record them.
Right. For them to keep them.
Yeah, it depends on your level of subscription. But yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm not really thought. I mean, have not had a client ask me about that or.
Well, can't the parent consent on behalf of the child for the recording?
Yes, but here I'm talking about
Video. But you're talking about a third party.
No, I'm talking about Kim and I have a child together.
Oh, right. Sorry.
And
it was your
and the child is at Kim's house, and I call the child on FaceTime. Basically, I'm having the child walk around the house so I can snoop on Kim.
Right.
Why are you trying to snoop, Patty?
I want to see who she's with.
Curious. Come
I
on.
want to see who she's with. I want to see if she has a live-in lover so I can stop her alimony.
Stop her alimony and stuff.
Or see if there's like any alcohol bottles sitting on the counter.
Yeah, because you know how Kim likes to drink.
You think that, oh man, Patty's paying you alimony?
Yeah, exactly.
That's up.
Way to go, kid.
Nice. Here, and to backtrack a little bit about the recording stuff, something that I had to deal with not that terribly long ago, my client found a tiny little recorder in the kid's diaper bag when they'd exchanged
Was it like voice activated? How do you feel about Apple AirTags?
I was about to say AirTags.
in the children's stuff, backpacks.
I don't know that would be illegal in any way, but
it does. If the child's going to the other parents, I mean, you're kind of blurring that line or kind of getting to that gray area of invasion of privacy.
A little stalkerish.
it's a little
Stocky.
because it's like, but of course, that parent can always say, yeah, but I'm stalking them. I'm stalking my child.
Yeah, I just need to make sure my child's okay. I'm entitled to know where my child is.
Right, and he won't.
And that's the excuse, right? That's always the excuse.
Right,
I'm entitled to know where the child is.
Right. I think you got to be careful. He's starting to flirt with that line, right? And like what Steve says, and Steve's not here, so I'll pretend I'm Steve here for a second. If you're defending, you're spending.
True.
Spending, you're spending.
Okay, fair enough.
Other areas, other criminal things that you're seeing in family law.
I don't know. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
Domestic violence, certainly we see a lot. The issues with invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
And things like that. Child abuse, which kind of is like domestic violence, but a little bit different category.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course you get that in domestic cases, and they're probably some of the most difficult cases to handle when you have a case in which the child of your client, I don't know, it'd be difficult on either side, but the child of your client is claiming that the other parent has harmed them in some way, whether it's physical or sexual abuse. If it occurs while a divorce case is pending or while a subsequent modification action is pending, those cases are always looked at with suspicion.
And you mean suspicion on the part of the parent who's accusing the belligerent of abuse.
Well, especially if it's the basis of the modification.
Correct. So, or if, it's a basis, if you file for divorce and it's there, or during the divorce it comes up, it's always the basis for suspicion. And it just becomes those cases become utter chaos in my experience.
Yeah.
I've handled 3 of them now, one of which was probably the worst piece of litigation I've handled.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
It was a very, very difficult piece.
Did you take it all the way to trial?
All the way to trial, 5 days.
Jeez.
And were the allegations found to be true?
Well, that was part of the problem, is that they never prosecuted him.
Oh, this was the case I was involved in.
Okay.
Judge Brasher.
Yeah. This was the case I got involved in.
It was a very...
And did your client then get accused of making false allegations?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's very challenging.
And it was a long, hard, fought out case, but for some other professionals in the case, the outcome could have been disastrous.
Sure.
Well, and let's talk about that a little bit too. In some of these cases where there are criminal allegations and things like that, how often are you bringing in additional professionals?
I think in any case in which there's allegations of child abuse or sexual abuse, there's going to be other professionals brought into the case. There's going to be custody evaluators brought into the case, forensic evaluators brought into the case.
Sure, and you almost won that because we're not qualified as family law attorneys, and to interview a child, and it's not our job when we advocate for one of the parents. We need those professionals to be kind of the neutral, the experts.
Well, and it helps with the suspicion,
right?
Substantially, and if they substantiate what the allegations were, then
yeah.
Or even if they don't substantiate, sometimes they just provide enough unbiased, separate set of eyes onto what's going on to provide some levity to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think judges tend to rely on them as well.
I think they do strongly because it's, hey, here's this professional who specializes in this, and this is going to be the best information that I'm going to get, rather than mom's attorney saying this and dad's attorney saying this. And what do we have? Maybe a preschool teacher who's like, yeah, kids acting weird.
Right.
No, that expert is probably going to be the best resource for the court.
Right. Right. So switching to some lighter topics, because I was getting
a little heavy.
What's your favorite movie? Don't think, just go.
Yeah.
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde. Okay.
We're gonna do a podcast on that. Our next round on Legally Blonde.
What's your favorite part about the movie? Favorite part in the movie?
Favorite line?
I just love when she's in the nail salon.
Which time? Which time? When she's
the Ben?
Yes, the Ben. Exactly. And when the UPS guy comes in.
You're hot for the UPS guy, aren't you?
That brown,
the brown uniform.
Doesn't matter what kind of uniform, just a uniform.
A uniform.
McDonald's, UPS,
just as not as long as it's not the orange uniform from Fulton County, apparently.
Correct. I don't think that they were orange, that it may have been black or blue.
I mean, either way, still, exactly.
Well, thanks for joining us, Kim. And it's very special to me because, Kim's been my go-to for almost 17 years, Kim.
Well, but what's nice about that? I will tell you, Patty's my go-to because now with all her experience and truly being able to pick up the phone and call somebody that used to call you 17 years ago, we always need to relieve and have voices to bring reason to us, or to say, well, wait a minute, have you thought of this or that? And it's really kind of just a full circle.
Yeah. And in fact, the funny story, and I think you guys have heard me tell this story before, when I was still a new attorney and Steve was gone, and I would call Kim, and sometimes 5 times a day to be like, hey, can I run something by you? Hey, real quick, I'm sorry, let me just run this by you. And there was then a few days that I didn't call her at all. And she called me and she's like,
are you dead?
Are you okay?
Exactly. Did you die? What's going on?
I'm like, no, I'm actually starting to figure things out.
She's like, my work here is done. No, Kim actually texted me yesterday. I was like, I'm in a mediation. What's going on?
Yep.
Like, oh, I got to run something by. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how long you practice law. I think the day you stop doing that, it's probably the day you stop practicing law.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And when you stop cracking the statute and looking at the case law, I mean, because it changes, or we forget, or,
Really what I called yesterday, what I was texting Alexa about was something I've dealt with, I don't know how many times, 10, 20 times, but every time I always go, wait a minute.
Can I do this? Yeah, I'm not supposed to do this. I can't remember.
Let me go through the steps again. Let me run this by somebody.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate it, Kim.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being
here. Thanks so much.
Billboards. We missed Steve on this episode.
Well, you'll just have to listen, man. You'll just have to listen to it.
What do you mean missed?
All right. Thanks, y'all, for joining us at Lawyers Without Billboards. Peace out, Girl Scouts.
That's it for this episode of Lawyers Without Billboards. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to follow and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. For more resources or to get in touch with us, visit shewmakerandlewis.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.